Want to find out what's hidden in Hong Kong's culinary underground? On today's menu. Going off the grid with the celebrated chefs of Hong Kong's exclusive private kitchens. Mixing ancient and arcane recipes with CUISINES.
I don't know if anybody's still doing this.
A dim sum master hides a few surprises. Renegade chef Jackie Yu breaks a few rules with Asian fusion.
Seaweed in the Japanese vinegar.
The Hong Kong foodie finds out what it takes to make traditional soy sauce.
In the soy sauce, the mold is the most important factor.
Hidden things are always very intriguing. The more hidden, the more difficult to find, the more private.
In Hong Kong, private kitchens are small underground restaurants where amateur chefs are free to take a fresh, more experimental approach to Chinese cooking.
And people get very proud, especially the foodies, they get very proud of the fact that they found some place that no one will know. My name is Margaret, and I have a passion for cooking.
Margaret Xu Yuan is the chef and hostess of Cuisine X, the most hidden of Hong Kong's private restaurants. Drawing on ancient recipes and obscure techniques not found in most professional Chinese restaurants, Margaret prepares an exclusive dinner at her home 15 miles north of Hong Kong Island.
My friend has this organic farm somewhere hidden around here, but it's quite difficult to find. One thing that's very important to me about Hong Kong is there are quite a few organic farms now. But the thing about organic farms is if it's too close to the road, you can't actually keep the vegetables growing healthily. So they're always hidden in the middle of nowhere. I think we go straight. The reason why I'm in this funny little village miles away from everything else is because I basically like hidden places. We're lost. We go back to the car park. I think we walked the wrong way. I don't like big shop spaces on the main streets. People are not supposed to know about this farm. Farmers get very precious about people bringing different germs to their farms and stuff. We're gonna get the watermelon inside here. I love going to the organic farm, whether I actually need it for my cooking or not. And then I cut eggplants off the tree, I pick vegetables off the vine. This eggplant has a little nose. It's a nosy eggplant. The way food is grown makes a major difference to the taste. If it's grown naturally, where it's allowed to take its own pace, then the fruits, vegetables, that comes out much better than the others. Look at how beautiful this organic farm is. One of the best I've seen. And it's also very good feng shui because you've got a mountain behind it. Means that you've got something to lean on. So we grab all the stuff and go now. I don't think I actually have a proper restaurant. What I have is what they call a private kitchen. The original private kitchen back in Chinese history is like what I have, one table inside my house with my own recipes that you can't eat anywhere else. And you have to somehow know my house to get there. I kind of like food that is cooked slowly the way it should be cooked. For me, I hate pressure cookers. I hate machines. This is a stone grinder. It's actually an antique one. You put beans that you soak overnight into the grinder, and you put water in, and then this mixture of beans and water comes out, and that's soy milk. These are soybeans. This is the way that tofu was made maybe hundreds of years ago. I don't know if anybody's still doing this. I've got this terracotta cooking device. It's made out of 2 Italian plant pots put upside down. And terracotta can take high temperature. So it's very well heated. And the crispy roasted baby pig is a pretty popular dish that people keep requesting. And basically you slow roast the pork inside hanging up. And the good thing about that is all the fat drips down because it stands up. So there's no fat on the skin, it's just crispy. And inside it's juicy. This is the soy milk that came out of a grinder. We put it through a cheese bag and then we strain it, and this is what comes out of it. We're now going to make tofu. I pour the coagulated soy milk in here, and then to mold it, I have to press out the water, so I have to put a weight on top. So we leave it there for half an hour. I think food deserves a little bit more respect, a little bit more time. The pig is ready for the first step. I've basically slow roasted it, so it's juicy inside, and the skin is dry enough for making crispy. This is my tofu here. I want to see what it looks like now. The taste of real soybeans. Well, I'm just gonna go get changed and prepare for the guests to arrive.
As she unveils her menu. But first, a surprising twist on a Hong Kong classic.
We've moved beyond just having the simple shrimp dumpling. A lot of chefs are now putting much more modern takes on it. It could be sweet, it could be sour, it could be very salty. You never really know what you're going to get. But it's what's hidden inside that is really the gem of it.
Wander the upscale Hong Kong neighborhood of Happy Valley long enough, and you'll uncover another hidden treasure, Dim Sum Tea House. Here, the surprise is the twist hidden inside a traditional Chinese snack.
Most people won't make dim sum at home because it is a lengthy process and it does take quite a bit of ingredients and time. And plus, most of these dim sum chefs have been doing it for decades. Their technique is down and they do probably 800 dumplings a day.
So
these are handmade wonton skins, essentially just rice flour. He's saying that the most important thing about all this is that the wrapper is very, very thin. The thinner you can get the skin, the more tasty it's supposed to be. 有咩茶？你要咩茶？有保利。保利啊。Now he's going to serve me some bolei tao. It's basically black fermented tea. It's supposed to cut the fat, and it's great if you're eating really fatty dim sum. Dim sum traditionally was just drinking tea. The food, that's supposed to be secondary. It's only been the last 100 years that restaurants started introducing dishes to go along with your tea. Now he's going to take steamed sticky rice with a chopped up chicken with mushroom, dried scallops, and abalone. He's also going to put an egg yolk in it as well. And that's wrapped in a lotus leaf and steamed. The whole point is to find the egg yolk. That's the best part. When you divide it and share it amongst your family, friends, or whomever, that's what everyone fights for. Where is it? Ah, Daniel, 喺邊度啊? Ah, so it's all the way over here. And the rice itself has no flavor, but it just takes all the flavor from the scallop and the abalone and the little bits of pork and mushrooms, and it just completely flavors the rice. This is bird's nest, and that comes from the saliva of the swallowbird. And the swallowbirds will basically use that as glue to make nests for their little babies. And the Chinese eat it because it is said, for women anyway, it helps with your immune system. And men take it because it's supposed to help their fertility. So today he's going to be making a hagao, which is essentially a shrimp dumpling, with this bird's nest, which is quite unusual here in Hong Kong. After it comes out of the steamer, he puts a little bit of gold leafing on top. Oh, it is so hot. Tie-dye. It's too big. You should probably eat it in a few bites, but that was delicious. That was truly delicious. Restaurateurs are doing quite inventive things, adding very expensive ingredients to these things to make them stand out. The packaging is a gift, and it is what's hidden inside that makes that little morsel that you put in your mouth so special.
As if finding your way in Hong Kong isn't already hard enough, there isn't even a sign marking the entrance to Xi'an. Celebrated chef Jackie Yu is one of the pioneers of the private dining scene. Having no formal training and operating outside the constraints of the traditional Chinese kitchen, Yu finds the freedom to fuse regional cuisine with Thai, Japanese, and Southeast Asian flavors.
Xi'an basically means banquet of joy and coming together in the Chinese meal where people partake and share in the joy of eating together. And that's the inspiration behind the name. This restaurant is run by this very famous chef, Jackie. And Jackie's training is very different to the traditional Chinese chef.
Seaweed in the Japanese vinegar.
And he takes ideas from traditional regional cooking to create uniquely his cuisine.
其實我由細到大食嘢嘅經驗。
Jackie's inspiration comes from his grandmother, his aunties, who all were passionate about food. So he picked up a lot of ideas from them.
一半一半啦，咁當其時亦都係即係個台。
The foundation is basically Chinese cooking. What Jackie has done is to bring in various types of regional cooking, Thai, Japanese, and even within Chinese regional cooking, Sichuan, Shanghainese, Cantonese, and he takes ideas from these cuisines and bring them together. Grouper is very typical of a lot of seafood being served in Hong Kong. And what he has done is to take the grouper, flavor it with very Cantonese shrimp paste. However, he would deep fry it and complement it with Thai-style lemongrass dressing, as well as pomelo salad, which is very, very Thai. Why fusion? Precisely because it's private dining. Chefs are allowed artistic license to create, to do what traditional regional cuisine would frown upon it. And what's so exciting about what Jackie is trying to attempt here is to use that platform of the private dining to create and to entice our tastes, to excite us. It was a very courageous and very frightening prospects of entering the catering market because he had no formal training, but given his passion for cooking and his interest in experimenting with food, he thought he could use that to go into the private dining area. He was very lucky being able to succeed in this field. The biggest advantage was that Jackie, coming from the advertising agency background, has a very strong design sense. And this is very different to the traditional training of the Chinese chef. So he could bring a very different edge, a new perspective to how the food could be prepared and presented. And that was a great advantage.
Deep fried fish, the lemongrass and shrimp paste. Enjoy.
It's kind of unexpected, isn't it? It's really unexpected. The private dining restaurant is not usually advertised, and the sense of mystery about it creates this curiosity. And because the private dining is essentially fairly small, so you cannot seat many tables.
Jackie
said, receiving the guests is a great pleasure. Serving them this food and seeing their reaction and their enjoyment to this dish is very gratifying.
Soy sauce is a multi-billion-dollar industry and a staple in Chinese cooking. Although there are many modern methods for production, at Kowloon Soy Company, the soy sauce is largely handmade. Just 20 miles outside Hong Kong Island, Ken Wong carries on the artisanal tradition of his grandfather, who founded the company back in 1917.
There are still some people making soy sauce. The old, very traditional way, using the traditional methods, which has never been changed over thousands of years. Hello, my name is Danny and I'm a food writer in Hong Kong. I'm now in the Kowloon soya factory in the northern part of the New Territories of Hong Kong, well hidden among the industrial areas. This is one of the oldest soya sauce factory in Hong Kong. Hello, Ken.
Hey.
Hello. This is a family business. It started with the grandfather, Mr. Wong, and now the son, Mr. Wong, is looking after it. And they have been doing the same method ever since it started for over 80 years. You're going to show me what soya is.
Yeah, what soy sauce is.
What soya sauce is. Wow, what is this place?
Well, I'm going to show you how we are going to boil our bean. This is a huge pot that we are going to cook the bean. After the bean is boiled, it looks like this.
First step is to boil the bean and soften the mud. Then afterwards, you mix the beans with flour and forms the soya bean cake.
This is the main ingredient of making top quality soy sauce. We got the bean cake.
The bean cakes are left to ferment for about a week. The bean cakes get moldy and smelly. Your next door neighbor hates you, and then afterwards it goes into water and with salt and just leave it in the sun. The hard thing about making soy sauce is the fermentation. It's just like making a nice wine or making beer. But of course, in the soy sauce, the mold is the most important factor. Nowadays, modern technology making soy sauce give maybe about 2 or 3 days, but the traditional ways, it can take weeks and up to months. Residues of the moldy bean cakes actually contribute to the taste of soy sauce.
You see all the beans on top. In fact, there's only 3-4 inches of bean floating on the top. So about this much is the bean, down there is all soy sauce.
How do I know this is fully ready?
You can tell by the color and you can taste it.
The taste is like natural. This doesn't taste like the soy sauce back home, but I like this even more. I think nowadays most soy sauce, it is just too much flavored. I mean, it's
chemicals.
Yeah, and then that's right. And then they lose the bean taste. This is one of the only places you can find in Hong Kong. They use the old traditional clay pot.
This thing is like the antique now. Every time we use it, there's some leftover. So this is the secret.
All these pots, they have never been washed. This pot is one of the hidden treasure of the soy sauce factory's family because the soy sauce is getting better and better. It's these old ways that make the continuity of this Chinese heritage.
In Hong Kong, knowing something hidden is a badge of honor. Back at Cuisine X, guests pay a flat fee for one of Hong Kong's most exclusive dining experiences.
The original private kitchen back in Chinese history was hidden and difficult to find, and that's the way I do it. Please come in. Hi. It only sits 6 people. That's minimum. Maximum is 8. It's usually visited by friends of people who know me. So I hope you guys are hungry. I've got tons of stuff tonight.
Okay.
Where is the food?
But then the good thing is I can choose and pick my clients. I don't have people who I don't like coming to dinner. This is a roast black baby pig. Wow. Now this is the organic pig from one of the local farmers. This is only just under 1 month. Poor thing. But it's so delicious. It's very crispy.
Wow.
The best thing is everyone just helps themselves as well. They don't expect any service. They're happy. They just want to talk about the food. They are deeply in appreciation of the process that I go through. The orange under the lobster is the organic rock melon from the local farms. The red is organic watermelon from the local farms. I prefer food that is cooked the way it's meant to be. Jackie, and I want to restore that spirit of real cooking, like you cook a chicken for 10 hours to make it tender, steamed, and the juice is locked in.
Here's that crack. Wow.
And the only source of recipes or of information I can find for this kind of food is through very old recipes of old villages.
I just want the skin. You want some skin? Absolutely. Let's go.
Very good.
Place like this, right? Like Margaret's place, is really like a hidden gem of Hong Kong.
非職業廚師出身嘅廚師有時煮嘢嗰個。
Yeah, Jackie says that the private kitchen cook is not a profession, it's not a work. It's more about.
It's more about a life's mission.
It's more about a passion for cooking, right? Hey, come on, Margaret. You got to share some of this wine with us.
Cheers.
Ever since I've been doing this for over 3 years. I've suddenly become a chef recognized by the industry. It's so rewarding, it makes it all worthwhile. As long as I can keep experimenting with the authentic ways of cooking, it's my private lab.